Did you know the Jawas in Mos Eisley will repair CIS droids in the original Battlefront? They completely ignore the player if you're any other faction, only repairing turrets, but will rush to fix any damaged battle droid. Although you can't do this yourself to other team members, engineers have a passive ability that automatically repairs vehicle health, making the fusion cutter kinda useless in the original, doing no damage to enemies and barely anything compared to the astromech droid's healing speeds. Which is why they removed this passive ability in Battlefront 2 and buffed the fusion cutter, being able to even splice the enemy vehicle, disabling it and forcing the pilot to jump out. Speaking of which, in space battles, the only repairable capital ship system after they've been destroyed are the shields, but that takes a long time, and the auto turrets array. But by destroying the auto turrets before the shields are down, the shields will start repairing itself. Shout out to user Vuros for letting me know that this was a cut feature that was accidentally left in the game mode and even works for the enemy team's shields. You can also destroy the internal systems while flying from the inside of the capital ship. Thanks to user Daniel Taylor for revealing that on the left side of the Star Destroyer, right above the main gunners, where your shots don't react to collision, is a barrier dead zone that players can fly into and see the inside of the capital ship. You can sink through the walls of the hangar or quickly destroy all interior systems and leave in a matter of seconds. There's also a dead zone on the CIS Dreadnought, but has less area to fly around. Funny enough, I found this crack while trying to get footage for an even cooler glitch. In part 3 of this series, I showed you how to walk on the Star Destroyer's outer platform just under the hangar. But thanks to many viewers commenting that if you repeatedly spam the land and take off button from the hangar, you can keep going forward until you reach the actual exterior of the capital ship. This glitch can take a very long time to do. Literally took 40 plus minutes to get on top of the bridge, so yeah, I'm gonna flex some of these shots. But it was so worth it. To do this glitch, you have to use a ship that can increase its height by cutting short its landing animation. Every faction has at least one of these ships, and yes, this glitch does work on every capital ship. If I had more patience, I would try getting on some of the frigates as well, but you can just jump from the CIS Dreadnought onto the smaller cruiser below. This glitch shows just how big these ships really are, since you can literally walk on anything in the map if you're patient enough. But to make these glitches easier to do, I recommend using the in-game invincibility cheat, since you can literally glitch your way into rooms that you never thought were possible and just burn out. Speaking of which, Battlefront 1 also had some cheat codes. If you created a profile with the name Jub, all the models will appear Ewok sized, with the exception of the Droideka. This is such a fun little Easter egg, and I wish modern games would still include stuff like this. The other cheats aren't really that special, but there is a lot of funny glitches in the game. Like how the gunships on Geonosis are completely broken. Not only does taking off always have some turbulence, but if you let an NPC drive, it almost always crashes in the first 5 seconds. It doesn't help that the gunships will randomly gain hyperspeed, which the players can't really decide when to slow down. And sometimes the reloading animation stuffs up, constantly repeating itself when you have full ammo. It even causes Jedi to reload their lightsabers like a blaster repeatedly, which looks hilarious with the Jub cheat. Also, I said in another video that heroes are invincible, but that's not entirely true. Yes, they deflect most things, and no reasonable amount of blaster fire will kill them, not even a barrage of mines. But there is a few things that work. Running them over with a fast vehicle, blasting them off the map's boundaries if there is any, or any other high-speed maneuver that you can come up with should work. Thankfully though, they were nerfed in the sequel. Speaking of which, there's a few smaller details between the two games that differ, like the different skyboxes for maps. Since players can use starships to land basically anywhere in the map, it allows for some creative sniping spots or other class shenanigans. While a lot of these harder to access places are only available for the jet troopers in Battlefront 2, unless you come up with some creative ways to get airtime with the perfect launch pad like on Kashyyyk. Trust me, give this a go, it's so much fun. Also, the original only had Conquest as the game mode across each map, while the sequel introduced beloved game modes like Heroes vs Villains, Hunt, and Capture the Flag, which by the way, removes all native factions from the map with the exception of the Jawas in Mos Eisley, which not only can pick up the flag, but score as well. Regardless which flag it is, Jawa's scoring will always cause both sides to lose if the maximum counter is 1. but won't add a score if the counter is anything higher. Shout out to user Jays for pointing this out. But you might have also noticed that the droids use a different gunship in the original. Well, that's because the CIS didn't officially have a gunship until episode 3, so most likely Pandemic got some rough sketches of the HMP before it got finalized, leading to the creation of an entirely new ship called the MAF. In fact, not only is the Imperial shuttle in Battlefront 2 the one seen at the end of episode 3, but the Republic also didn't have a bomber until the Clone Wars showed off the B model Y-Wing, which is why Battlefront 2 uses the V-Wing as a bomber and the Jedi Starfighters as interceptors, even though canonically V-Wings are the precursor to the TIE series as shown at the end of episode 3. This was later fixed in the series reboot. On that note, most classes use the same skin with different accessories for specific units in EA's Battlefront 2, which is not the case in the original. Although we see most of these appearances in the movies and other media, they're actually different rankings among each battalion or their unique armor, not class specializations of the game. At least for the Republic. Plus, for some reason the clone pilot has orange striped arms instead of the clear white seen in the movies. And all B1 battle droids use the Geonosis skin in first person mode even though they always use the standard colors on every map. Why is that? Find out in this video here.